Welcome everyone. My name is Chris Duncan. I'm the Trade Show and Event Specialist for Balluff Incorporated. And today we're going to be talking about some common applications in manufacturing and machine tool with one of our experts on controls architecture. This is Shishir Rege. He is our Technical Sales Specialist for Controls Architecture and I/O Link. How are you doing today, Shishir?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me here, Chris.
Great. So Shishir, we're gonna talk about some common applications, and one of those sectors that we're gonna kind of focus on is machine tool. So, what are some common applications that you see in manufacturing and machine tool?
Sure. There are 4 different common applications that I can talk about quickly. The first one being in-die sensing or tool change with inductive coupling and the benefits of that. The second type of applications is access controls. This is about who has changed the parameters on the machine, who has operated the machine, what parameters have been changed, tracking and tracing the data through the access control portals. And the third one is the next generation of applications that we are all looking forward to is Industry 4.0 or IIoT, which deals with condition monitoring or predictive maintenance, predictive analytics, those types of applications. And lastly, I want to talk about noise issues, electrical noise or weld spatter in the machine tool area that is very commonly found. How do we combat those with the proper selection of components through the controls architecture and I/O link?
Okay, yeah. So the first one that you mentioned there, changing tool or mold change out. What are some problems and some kind of solutions that I/O Link or industrial networking can help with that?
Absolutely. So when we talk about in-die sensing or tool changing, we are dealing with this in a machine tools shop specifically. We have stamping operations. So we have to change out the mold. And we have to also make sure that the mold or the die that we changed is the right die, first of all. And it also has some sensors to make sure all the parts are seated right in the right location. So there is all this wiring for these sensors and identification of that die that has to be done. And most of the dies are pre-wired for those applications. Just that when you place that die in the stamping machine, you have to also connect it. Right? That's when the machine knows that, okay, the die is ready and it's the right die and all those things. Now, the common problems, two common problems that occur. First of all, when the die is placed, a lot of times people short the wires to identify the die properly. So they short different wires to number the dies in different fashion. What if that solder comes loose? Now your die is not identified right. And getting to that sensor or getting to that area where the shorts are done is difficult when the die is in the machine. That means you're wasting your time figuring out what's wrong and where the problem is, how to fix that problem. The second area is when you remove the die, a lot of times the technicians forget to disconnect and they rip out those connectors. Now that's a 3 or 4 hour downtime that the machine experiences because of that one small mistake. How do we avoid that? So Balluff offers this inductive coupling solution, which helps with, first of all, identification on the other side, because you could mount a Balluff I/O Link I/O hub so that it can you can record its identification number. That can be done easily without having to do the shorts and all those kinds of things. Secondly, with the inductive coupling, there is no physical connection. You are actually passing the data and power across a air gap, a 2 to 5 millimeter air gap. So there is no physical connection, so there is no question of ripping those connectors out. So you have a long-term solution for changing out the dies or tools in your machine without having to go through that downtime. So that's one areas where we can definitely help the machine tool shops in improving their production capabilities. The second application area, I'm not even waiting for you to ask me about it. So the second application area is the access control, right, where you are actually logging in the information. Now, when we walk through these plants, a lot of times we see the post-it notes with the passwords already written on it. So people knows the password to enter the information. Well, that can be avoided with simple use of RFID key tags. And that can be integrated with your existing architecture if you have an IO-Link infrastructure in place. And IO-Link is neutral to all the field buses, so it can be easily integrated into your existing controls architecture. You don't have to have additional stuff or expensive hardware for RFID integration in particular. So that is another area we can definitely help with the IO-Link RFID for access control. The third is Industry 4.0 applications. As I said in my earlier video, a lot of sensors are dumbed down by us by just communicating the signals, right? The sensor technology has grown leaps and bounds. The sensor knows a lot more things than it tells us, right? It knows about its ambient conditions. It knows about what kind of problems it is experiencing, but it has no way to tell it because we decided to get 4 to 20 milliamps as a signal out, or 0 to 10 volts, or presence or absence, a digital in and out sensor, right? With IO-Link, we are unleashing the potential of that device communicating all this information to the controls architecture, right, to the PLC or to the higher level controls by utilizing a data communication. So that's the other area that we can help. And in order for us to grow and learn about our systems, we need to understand these ambient conditions about the sensors, about the machines, so that we can build a better picture for the future AI or artificial intelligence, predictive analytics type applications. And we have to start that today. We can't wait 5 years down the road. We need the data today to have those impactful applications for the future. So that's another area. And lastly, a lot of welding shops and machine tool shops have higher electromagnetic noise because of the tools and the machines that they use. And when you have that kind of noise, it interferes with your communications. So Balluff has built a composite weld block housing, which we call it a weld block housing, but it is a composite fiberglass device. Basically, it reduces your conductive and ground noise, as well as it has a PCB raised up a little bit, so we kind of reduce that electromagnetic interference in the application. At the same time, since its IO-Link is a 24-volt digital signal communication, it is less impacted by the electromagnetic noise as well. So those are the 4 different areas we can definitely help with choosing right technology for the product.
Well, thank you, Shishir. So those are just a few of the applications. Do you have any closing thoughts on just the general, for someone that has their own specific application, what would be your kind of closing thoughts on this topic?
Well, I mean, we have tons of resources available in the field. So you can reach out to our Balluff sales representatives or a technical support, or even to me, and we can understand your applications and propose the right solution, can help you build the whole architecture out for you utilizing Balluff IO-Link and see the difference. We can definitely test out and figure out the right solutions.
Definitely. Yeah, so just like we were saying, there's a ton of different applications. If you have questions, reach out to your local Balluff representative. Reach out to Shishir. We'll have his email address as well on our webpage. And for more information on industrial networking and how that can assist your plant to be more efficient, please join us on our other 2 videos. Thank you.